And welcome back now to a special Sunday edition of CBS 2 News at 5 as we continue to track Tropical Storm Henri.
Our weather team is all over it tonight. Let's get the very latest, starting with Lonnie, Quinn, and Lonnie. With all this water coming onto the ground, we're going to start seeing trees come down. You have to believe that.
Man, that's a great thing to point out, because what people are not seeing, the winds, right? Look, is the storm a bust in terms of the winds? The winds have not materialized. Okay, they were just off to our east, but the rain has materialized far more than anybody in the weather community thought we'd be seeing. So Maurice brings up a great point. With all the water in the ground, you can't absorb any more. So now those trees are rooted in basically like a very soft soil or a mud. It doesn't take a 50, 60, 70 mile per hour wind to bring a tree down. All right, it could be a lighter wind that could possibly do it. So I'm going to keep that risk for trees coming down right into your nighttime hours tonight, maybe even into tomorrow as well. Here's your current picture. So there's Henri pushing through the area. It's a very low-grade tropical storm right now. Winds are at 40 miles per hour. But again, this is not a storm about wind. It's a storm about rain, particularly fresh water, rainfall. I'm not talking the storm surge, I'm talking the rainfall. That has been enormous out there. We're still watching this big plume of moisture around Paterson, New Jersey, stretching over towards Vernon, New Jersey. You see a little bit of a blue color there showing you some hail, some strong updrafts out there. So it's coming down heavy out there. The 5 o'clock numbers show you a 40 mile per hour storm that is pushing now through Connecticut as it pushes up towards that northwest corner of Connecticut. But take a look at the history involved here. We thought this might be our first landfalling hurricane in Long Island since Gloria in 1985. And that was a devastating storm for Gloria. Well, people thought, hey, what about Bob? Bob was 1991. Interesting story about Bob. Bob went right between the very eastern tip of Long Island, right between Montauk and Block Island. It went right in between the two. Well, lo and behold, Henri did the exact same thing, and now it's making its trek through Connecticut. But since it's making that push where it does that loop, it's going to be giving us rain right through the late night hours tonight into tomorrow as well. And look at this. Here we are. If you can see those numbers there, August 20th. You see that where that is? You're just really into that peak season. So peak hurricane season. Last week of August, first 2 weeks of September, that's where we get more activity than any other time during the season, and that's what we're going to be dealing with out there. And again, there's that big hook it makes out to sea, and as it makes that big hook, it gives it more time to continue to rain. So from this point moving forward, you're going to get some bouts of very heavy rain out there, but you may also just get bouts of moderate rain. But it's the duration. It's going to be a long time. So we will add to these numbers. I mean, Cranberry, you almost have 9 inches of rain from this storm. Hopewell, 6.6. Long Beach Township, 6.4. Jersey City, 5.7. Clifton, 5.23. Brooklyn, we showed you, that's the biggest number I see in the 5 boroughs, 7.8 for you. Midtown, 5.4. In the park itself, 5.2. Massapequa with 3.86 and 3.1 in Belmar. So the flash flood warning is in effect right now for all 5 boroughs. Also in Nassau County, northeastern New Jersey, and the lower Hudson Valley. That stays in effect until about 8:45 tonight, because it's happening out there right now. Whenever you see a warning, that means whatever the condition is, be it a flash flood warning, be it a hurricane warning, that means it's imminent. It's happening out there right now. You got to take that into consideration. And then you take a look at the flood warnings that are there. I think Vanessa can toss me through this better than probably anybody ever can take us through this. Vanessa, why don't you talk to us about what's going on with the flooding that's out there?
So I think with regard to the particular map you're just showing us, Lonnie, we are going to see more green on that screen with river and creek flooding over the next 24 hours, because that's a situation where it's not just the rain that's falling directly into the basin, but also everything that eventually seeps down into it as well. So a few rivers are currently at flood stage, and then I do expect we'll see more of that. If we could just switch the source behind me, we see here the radar is really lighting up across northern Jersey. As Lonnie showed you the flash flood warning in effect, my eyes were, of course, drawn to Passaic County, because this is where we're seeing the most intense rainfall of anywhere across the region right now. And the problem is, it's just persistently raining heavily here. So it hasn't been forever that it's been raining heavily here, but this is a problem, and we will see more road closures, and that is what we've already seen. Lisa Rosner showed us some incredible video from the Bronx River, and that's a result of exactly what we see here, this steady, heavy rain falling over the same places repeatedly. So let's point out a couple. We've seen a few more new reports pop up as a result of flooding. Anywhere you see this little sailboat, that is a place where flooding is causing problems. So first and foremost, we take you to Westchester in Elmsford. Flash flooding resulted in the Springbrook Parkway North being closed because of flooding. We actually have an entire line running up and down. It's the Bronx River, it's the Springbrook. Here you see the Pascack Road flooded between Washington as well as Fremont, and this happens to be in Woodcliff Lake in Bergen County, one of those places under the flash flood warning. In Rockland County, we have West Clarkton Road closed as well. Flooding is it. This is the name of the game moving forward. Maurice did mention the possibility of some trees coming down. We say absolutely, but it would be very isolated problems with trees coming down. It's truly the flooding that we're concerned about, and it's the flooding and the occasional light wind gust that could result in trees coming down. As we look across the island, the rainfall not as intense here, up through the Bronx, and as we look up into Westchester, portions of Rockland County, and in Bergen County, we see some heavier rainfall. Widening it out. Again, it's still Passaic getting hit heavy. The blue, that would be the most intense rainfall that we've actually seen today on the radar in my experience. So plenty of rain out there right now, plenty more to come. We're going to zoom out a little bit now to give you more of a context. When it's so close in, I have trouble identifying where we are on the map. I say zoom it out, people. All right, so here we are, 6 o'clock, moving forward, rain. And it's not just tonight. It's not just the next couple of hours. For those of you in Passaic, you could see that steady, heavy rainfall for the next hour or two. It is very much possible with the system. We're actually seeing a cutoff. The rain can't seem to get into the midsection or South Jersey right now because of an upper level low. So midnight, still raining north and west of the city. 4 a.m., still raining north and west of the city. Finally, drive time, 8 a.m. Is this the last gasp? It's the last big gasp from the storm, but nonetheless, still some residual showers swinging on through, hence the flash flood watch that is in effect until tomorrow evening. More rainfall is expected. We've talked about it. 2-3 inches to the north, more than that possible west, much lesser totals to the east and to the south. As far as wind goes, not a story of wind with this particular storm. The peak was 70, and peak around the area got up as high as, let's say Montauk got up to 43, Block Island 55. Max wind gusts we saw with this storm. Tomorrow, it's going to be a little bit breezy, folks, and that will be it. It is going to be rain, the name of the game. So let's show you this extended forecast, show you how things do brighten up in the skies moving forward. We're going to maybe achieve another heat wave in the midweek forecast. And before I send it back over to Lonnie, I think we should talk a little bit more about storm surge, because that was a big concern last night. Now it is no longer a major concern. Lonnie.
Yeah, in just a moment, I'm going to be talking to Ken Graham. He's the director of the National Hurricane Center. And I want to talk to him a lot about just that, Vanessa, because that was one of our big concerns. All of us here in the tri-state, we're so focused on storm surge because we've been through the worst of the worst. This didn't play out that way. We're going to talk to him more about the concerns that we do have that are still out there, still in our atmosphere, still circulating. We've got more of the storm to go through for about another, guys, almost 12 hours still to go in some way, shape, or form. It's not going to be until Tuesday that we're going to break into good weather. So tomorrow, kind of a transition day, but I think right through the late night hours tonight, we'll still be dealing with Henri. But a better forecast is lying ahead, but boy, it's going to get hot out there, guys. And if there are folks who lose their power, I mean, you have a possible heat wave brewing out there on Tuesday.
Not good timing.
And summer is not over.
No, definitely not, guys.
You know, Lonnie, in these maps, we're so used to seeing the red, and we know that those are like the really intense storm, but the blue that Vanessa was pointing out, I don't ever recall seeing that.
The blue is picked up by updrafts as well. The stronger a storm is, okay, stronger the rain comes down, but it also goes up. Updrafts will produce that blue color, some hail sometimes, because that raindrop, it comes down, it gets pushed back up in the sky, it freezes, becomes a little pellet of ice, right? Yeah. And that's depicted as that blue color that you see right there. So we do have some hail out there right now. Hail is indicative of very heavy rain that's falling, and the stuff that gets pushed back up becomes ice and is portrayed by blue on our radar screen.
There you go.
Thank you, Lonnie.